कितने पैसे चाहिए?
पैसा नहीं, इज्जत। मोहल्ले के चिरकुट लौंडे हरा रहे हैं फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स में। आप एक्सपर्ट हो, सिखाओ।
सिखाऊंगा तो जाने दोगे? हाँ।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का
असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Hello and welcome to the Outside View presented by Fantasy Akhada. So just before the start of the game, we were saying that it's going to be a new start for both the sides. For India, it would be the start of the new championship cycle, and for Sri Lanka, it is the start of a new series, keeping behind what happened in the Pakistan series. So the first innings is done and dusted. 171 is what Sri Lanka has scored, and 172 is what India will have to chase if they want to win the first ODI. So to discuss the first innings, I have alongside me our experts, Thirushkamini and Annesha Ghosh. Welcome both of you to the show. So before the game, we were talking that how this pitch and these conditions are going to help the spinners. The spinners are going to have a great say here. That's what we saw. But for the pacers to enjoy success, it was necessary for them to kind of pay attention to their variations and come out as their best. And probably that's the plan that India had. They probably knew it before because Renuka Singh Thakur today, Anisha, she stood out, 3 wickets, was good enough with the ball and was impressive throughout the innings, wasn't she?
That's right. Those are Renuka Singh's career best figures in international cricket, mind you. Not that she has been an experienced campaigner or has played a lot of international cricket, but this should do a lot of good to her confidence because here is a player we know who has a lot of potential as she's shown in the opportunity she's gotten on the international circuit so far. And it's great on her part to have gotten those 3 wickets. Started out expensive with that 8-over opening over, but thanks to Meghna Singh, in fact, she should be grateful to her fellow pace bowler there because Meghna Singh's opening over sort of put Sri Lanka a bit on the back foot, especially at Chamari Athapattu, because she got stuck on one end, wasn't able to get the runs, and come Renuka Singh in with her second over, she was able to make the inroads, further put additional pressure on Chamari Athapattu and was able to get the Sri Lankan captain out. And for her to have made that breakthrough as early as in the power play, that really jolted Sri Lanka in a big way. And they ended up getting only 30 odd runs in the power play, which was going to come back to bite them in terms of the overall score they were to post. And as you can see, for them to have gotten to a score which one of their teammates, Indian players, have gotten in one innings, 171 not out, is what Harmanpreet got in that epochal semi-final, and here is what the entire lineup has gotten for the host to defend in this opening fixture. Indeed, Renuka Singh was outstanding, as was Meghna Singh and Pooja Vastakar as well, because without them having set the foundation for the spinners to come around, Harmanpreet Kaur used as many as 8 bowlers. 3 of them were pacers. So Renuka Singh did really shine in this particular game, given she was able to use the variations, made her medium pace look all the more gentle and military, so to speak, and was more floaty than I have ever seen her, in fact. So she read the conditions really, really well and was able to bowl accordingly, which led to her bagging her career best figures in international cricket.
Well, this was the point that I was going to take next, that Harmanpreet Kaur using 8 bowlers. But let's have a look at the bowling scorecard. So with that, we'll get an idea to how the bowling went, how the 8 bowlers bowled in this match. Of course, we know that Renuka Singh Thakur there picked up 3 wickets for India, 2 wickets for Pooja Vastarkar, 1 for Rajeshwari, Harmanpreet Kaur each. And of course, we saw there Harleen Deol and Shafali Verma also coming in to bowl, with Meghna Singh also quite economical with the ball. But of course, as you mentioned there, that 8 bowlers were used, Anisha. And then the other observation that you made, that was 171 not out from Harmanpreet Kaur and 172 is what India has to take. That was a lovely observation there. But as Anisha rightly mentioned, that a big role of Meghna Singh in this innings cannot be neglected, because 8 overs is what she bowled and conceded just 28 runs. That helps you to sort of restrict the flow of runs, and the other bowlers then can come and make their impact there and do the job for the team. Because in the power play, we saw Deepti Sharma also came in. She also dried up the runs, and that eventually probably the bowlers bowled in tandem, and that's what helped India today, Thirush.
Certainly, that's what has helped India because as how batting you have a lot of partnership that will help post a big total, and in bowling also there's something called partnership which will help uh, one another, and that's exactly what has happened. Like what Anisha had mentioned earlier, she was talking about how Renuka Singh must be extremely thankful to the way Meghna Singh did bowl because they did bowl in partnership, which helped Deepti Sharma to get the breakthrough initially, and then later also getting the big in spite of the big player like a Chamari Atapattu getting out so early and you're getting that initial breakthrough. I think all due credit would go to Renuka Singh for the kind of bowling that she's displayed, but also a lot of appreciation should go to the bowlers who had bowled on the other end because when you know runs are drying up from the other end, naturally you would expect batter to try to do something different, and that's exactly what has happened today. And talking about the amount of bowlers that were used today, except for Smriti, who is a pure bat in the team. I think most of them are doing a pretty much an all-round show. We do know Smriti and Richa are the only two players who haven't bowled today, but you also know that Richa is capable of doing wicket keeping, which we've witnessed in the earlier World Cup as well. So, which means everybody has a couple of proficiency in their hand. Either they can bat and bowl, or they can bat and keep, or you also know we also witnessed Pooja Vastrakar who could do a bit of she also has given a good contribution of good 5 overs, and you know the kind of destructive batting that she can display. So overall the team feels like there's a lot of depth in terms of their batting, and also a lot of depth in terms of a variety. There's a lot of versatility in India's bowling. So I think Harmanpreet job seems a little more easier when you have multiple options because it is not completely reliable on one particular person. So it gives the player the opportunity to explore themselves and play their game to the fullest. And that's exactly what is happening today. And I'm really happy with the performance that has come out for India. A special mention on how even the most prominent bowler of India has not been able to complete their quota of 10 overs today. The highest bowler has been Rajeshwari Gaikwad, who has been the prominent bowler for the Indian team. Generally, we would see the bowlers finishing their quota of overs, but today we didn't have any of them finishing the quota of overs. But we still had sufficient options in terms of trying to explore with their bowling lineup. I think Indian team right now feels like we're just in the midst of a lot of combination that they're trying out, and seems like looking like it's going in the right direction.
Looking like it's going in the right direction, and we can only say that Harmanpreet Kaur is a happy captain having all of these choices with her. So let's have a look at the Sri Lankan batting unit, how it fared in today's match. Of course, Hasini Pereira there, she got to a good start, hit a few boundaries there, where while she came into bat and opened with Chamari Tapatu. Of course, the skipper couldn't get going today, departed with just 2 runs to her account. But then came an important partnership between Nilaksha De Silva and Harshita Madhvi, of course, 28 and 43 other contributions from them, and 18 from Anushka Sanjeevani as well. And of course, the bowlers then coming in and trying to chip in as many runs as they can. 171 is what Sri Lanka have managed to score. And if we speak of Sri Lanka's batting unit, then in the pre-show as well, we of course mentioned that in a format like that of 50 over, that's the ODI cricket, you can't really depend on just one batter. You want others to also step up, anchor the innings, and probably Hasini Pereira at the top order did that job today for Sri Lanka, Annesha, because we see that she has quite a bit of experience under her sleeves, and that's when we say that you can't buy experience from a supermarket, and her innings of those 37 runs is an important one for Sri Lanka today.
Absolutely. And those cover drives she unfurled, it looked like she could play them in a sleeve, or she has been practicing that shot forever. Those were silken cover drives. We often go gaga when Smriti Mandana plays those shots. But here was somebody who did not bat an eyelid playing that, bringing out that stroke, and it really looked good. And there was a point where in the power play, Sri Lanka were 34 odd for the loss of 1 or 2 wickets, and 28 of those runs were scored by their left-hand opener Hasini Pereira. So it spoke to the fact that number one, she did keep the majority of the strike and did well, having retained that strike for the best part. And it also spoke to the fact that the other batters who were coming in were not quite able to find their rhythm as well as a Hasini Pereira did. She was able to adjust to the change of pace from the Indian quick bowlers and also read the spin reasonably well because it looked like a rank turner. Some of the spin that India's left arm spinner Gaikwad was able to elicit was mind-boggling. I mean, Yastika Bhatia on her part had one of the most hectic days ever she's ever had on a cricket field, probably. And here she was in her first ODI game as India's first choice wicketkeeper. So that gave us a sense of how big a turning surface this is. So keeping that in mind, I think Hasini Pereira's approach was really good because she did not quite look as though she was biding her time. She was alert to the potential options she was getting, and she was able to bisect the gaps pretty well on the offside. But after that came Nilakshi De Silva, who too again has been one of the better performers in the Sri Lankan ranks. When India toured the country back in September 2018, that was the last time India toured Sri Lanka, and Nilakshi De Silva played a 31 odd run knock in the second ODI, which though Sri Lanka ended up losing, it showed that she's somebody who can inject a lot of power. And curiously, this time around in this avatar of Nilakshi De Silva, that's one facet that's missing, I feel. She has understood her role as a key cog in the batting order, which is why is more, she seems to be more inclined to just digging her heels in and scoring those runs rather than pressing on the accelerator and scoring them at a quick rate. So that is one facet that I would love for Nilakshi De Silva to bring back that old Nilakshi De Silva that can score at a canter at a quick pace. So if that happens, I think a lot of the responsibility, a lot of the burden that we see on Chamari Ataputta and even Hasini Pereira, I think that will come down even more. And yeah, the starts that they got, that will be better utilized because you don't expect a 37 run start to having gotten wasted the way it did because they ended up with only 171 without even completing their full allotment of overs. So that's something Sri Lanka need to bear in mind going into the next two games because this hardly looks dependable.
Of course, though the Sri Lankan bowlers have done a great job, but you need to have those runs in front of you for the bowlers to come out and express themselves freely there. But let's get to the chase now. 172 is what India have to chase. It's the target for them. And when we speak of the top order, there's Smriti Mandhana, there's Shafali Verma. Of course, we've been speaking that Smriti Mandhana's record in Sri Lanka is up and down there. But let's first talk about Shafali Verma. So we always keep saying that does Shafali Verma's game fit best to the ODI format of the game? She's more of an attacking player. We saw in the World Cup as well that she was rested for a few games. And then how do you see her approaching this first ODI today, the game, Thirush? Because it would be an important one for her as well as for India, because to get those good starts is what a template that India would want to build come the important series and the next ODI World Cup maybe, because it would be in their minds to get the top order sorted now because it's a new start for the team and they would want that template to be fixed now.
The World Cup is definitely a far long journey, so I don't think World Cup would be something that would be playing in the management's mind at this point. But Shifali will have a lot of to offer because we always know that she is predominantly known for her shot making, and a lot of people think that she is more suitable for the T20 format. But a mention about her innings in the in the Test match against England, and also the way that she came out in the Australia series, she was remarkable. The kind of dominance that she was able to bring gave a huge head start for India, especially the batters who had to come after that. Because when you know a batter is striking at that form, and bowlers could feel a little off, and a few shots that she were hitting. In fact, she was hitting the most. I mean, the Catherine Bunt in a Test match over the mid wicket region and hitting her straight. So it definitely brings down the confidence, just not for the bowler themselves, for the opposition themselves, but for the whole team who are on the field. So that's the kind of a player that Shifali is. So I really don't think I agree on the fact that she is a very one dimensional player. She has a lot to offer irrespective of the kind of format that she plays. She has been exceptional as a player who has time and again performed in a test format, which is considered to be more a longer format than the ODI, but she's also proven her worth even in the recently concluded World Cup. So there's no doubts about her potential. But the only thing is that could be a very important role for her is the consistency level will play a very important aspect, because as an ODI player, a lot is expected out of you in terms of consistency. So that is something you would expect out of Shefali, and being a youngster that she is, I think a little bit of backing is required to explore herself and understand the kind of responsibility, because playing three different formats is not going to be easy on a youngster. So a lot is on her shoulder. Probably we'll just have to hope that she has a good head start in this tournament. We did see a good few knocks from her in the T20. So probably in this format, if she gets a good head start in this first game, she could have a good series ahead.
Of course, she's very young, and of course, as you said, that she has a lot to offer to the game across formats, and that's what the Indian fans will hope. But the other headache that Captain Harmanpreet Kaur probably has is the batting order of India. Yastika Bhatia comes to our mind, coming in at number 3. She has produced some impressive performances there, but today we saw her keep wickets 50 over. Like, of course, it was almost a 50 over game, so she was there on the field throughout, and if at all we wouldn't want that. The Indian fans wouldn't want that. But if a wicket falls down early, will we see Yastika Bhatia again come in, because her workload management there becomes a point to be taken into consideration, Annesha? And do you think that this spot is what best suits her, the kind of game that she has?
100% in terms of the 50 over format being something that Yastika Bhatia's stroke play, her approach to an innings, whether or not it's more attuned to that instead of T20Is, I think certainly yes, though she is a versatile enough player to be able to shift gears in the T20I format pretty well, as we saw in the third T20I when she was batting alongside Harmanpreet Kaur in what was a close contest. In terms of managing her workload, look, we have somebody like an Alisa Healy who does the same for Australia. You know, she is a wicketkeeper opener for them. So I don't think it should be too much of an issue looking at the longer term picture. Whether Yastika is able to get into this role seamlessly, that's for her to, be challenged about, because this is just the first ODI match as the keeper. And if she gets to bat at number 3, which is where she should actually ideally be utilized, I think it should not be much of a concern around whether she'll be able to give her 100% as a batter, because she does that on the domestic circuit too, has done that for the longest time from age group cricket to senior women's cricket for Baroda as well. So it's something she should be comfortable doing ideally. It did not look like there was a lot of heat or the conditions were excruciating. So it's not as it did take a lot out of Yastika Bhatia. Yes, her keeping was a bit of a mixed bag, so to speak, because there were opportunities that went a begging. There were chances that she could have converted into, breathtaking catches, blinders even. She was tested by Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Harmanpreet Kaur, and thanks to the surface and nature of it, there was prodigious turn on offer, which the spinners utilized really well. Even Harleen Diol, her opening delivery was a big turn. It turned miles away from the right hander. So looking at how she has gone about in this game, and there was a superb, comeback from Yastika Bhatia in that amazing over by Rajeshwari Gaikwad, likely in the 34th over, where she was all over the place, was not able to even read which way the ball was turning, went the opposite direction when she was supposed to go to her right, perhaps, and crowned that over with a superb take of an under edge, of a bottom edge by Anushka Sanjeevani. So that should give her a lot of confidence. It was a testing day on the field with the gloves, but I'm pretty sure when she comes out to bat, she will be able to give her absolute best.
Well, that would be for all of us to watch. But let's get to another important point of discussion. That's the batting order of the captain, Harmanpreet Kaur. So if I have to give you a little bit of a fact there, then since the last 2 years, we've seen Harmanpreet Kaur bat at number 4 just twice in ODIs. She's batted at number 5. But if we have to talk about the average, then she averages around 31 at the number 5 position and around 40.45 on the 4th position. So we saw that she promoted herself up the order in the T20Is. Do you think something like that could happen today as well, Tirush? Because we know that she's the senior most batter in the side now, and a lot of responsibility would be on her. She has said in the presser that she enjoys this captaincy. That doesn't bring a lot of pressure on her, she said, but she enjoys bringing the bunch together and performing. So, do you think this is an opportunity for Harmanpreet Kaur to then promote herself up the order and then get going?
I think it's a pretty obvious thing that Harman is going to bat at number four in the recently T20 match. Also, we saw her bat at number four and did exceptionally well, understand the role. Uh, Obviously, there is going to be a dent when Mithali Dee is not at number four. So you would need a replacement. Somebody would want to bat at that slot. So obviously, the batter like Harmanpreet Kaur, who has been extremely experienced, and the kind of brilliance that she's able to bring, she's definitely going to promote herself at number four. Even when we go back to the past where Mithali Dee used to bat at number three, Harman was the undoubtedly the go-to player for the number four slot. So I don't think number four slot is something very new for Harman. She would, like rightly mentioned, you had just mentioned about the fact that she is enjoying the captaincy, and for certain people, it is all about understanding the role, and some could take it as a pressure, some could take it as a responsibility. I think with handling the team for quite some time, because she has been in the role of this captainship in the T20 format for quite some time. So it is right now the team seems pretty similar to what it is like a T20 team. Like she's understood the players, and there are so many options that are available. So I think it is a very comfortable position that Harman is at this point, just not in terms of her batting, because we've seen her do well, but also in terms of the captainship. I don't really see a bit of a hassle at this point in terms of the batting order, because it seems pretty much sorted with Yastika coming in at number three, and then Harman going up the slot at number four, and probably you have Richa Ghosh to come after that, and then you have Pooja Vasrakan, and also to mention Deepti Sharma could be a one crucial player, because we have seen her bat at multiple positions. Because in the World Cup, initially she did bat at number three slot. So yeah, in just in case if the management feels that Yastika do not want to be taxed by the number three position, because number three is a very crucial position where you'd expect the batter to anchor the innings. So that's a very crucial slot. So in case if they feel that they're taxing too much Astika at that slot, you still have a left-hander, an option of Deepti Sharma, who could come at number three slot. So I think right after today's game, and with the pretty obvious fact of trying to explore the option, that's what we are seeing. That it looks like it's a pretty obvious thing that they're trying to do, is trying to explore the combination. So if that's the thing that is going to operate in the management's mind, I think it's pretty much open. I really don't think there is, except for the openers and the number four slot, the rest of all the players, I think they would have to revolve in whatever slot they are given.
Yeah, and of course, 172 is not a very challenging total out there, considering the depth of India's batting unit and the Sri Lankan bowlers. As we're always discussing this, we did talk about this in the pre-show as well, that they've shown good form. The spinners, Renuka Ranavira, Ushadi Ranasinghe, have been in good touch lately. Rashmi Silva is making her debut today for Sri Lanka. How do you see Sri Lanka's bowlers approaching this game? Though it's 172, but they would want to give a tough fight, and probably that's what we'll see today. Annesha?
Yeah, it's 172 the target by, but simply given the fact that the surface is a ranked turner, I think the Sri Lankan cricketers will feel they have put on a good 200 on the board, because they have the advantage in terms of their bowling resources. As far as the spinners are concerned, the spinners obviously, I would say they out rank their Indian counterparts, because such has been their efficacy with the in the spin bowling department. And look, with the likes of Oshadi Ranasinghe and Inoka Ranavida, the way they have performed in the T20I series, they will be really excited at the fact that you have somebody like Smriti Mandana, who has been a bit up and down in the T20I series. So potentially here's another opportunity for the off spinner or the finger spinner versus the left-handers coming into play. And you also have Yastika Bhatia, another left-hander potentially slotting in the top three. I don't quite see Deepti Sharma bat above Harman, but it's a great point mentioned by Tirush that she is somebody who's batted from position number 1 to number 8 or even 9 for that matter. So India could look to utilize her as a floater depending on the match situation. So in case she does end up being sent in above Harman, that would make like three left-handers in the top four. So how do the Sri Lankan finger spinners operate under those circumstances? That's going to be a key talking point and something to look out for in this particular game, because the target doesn't look quite high or defendable, but given the nature of the surface, the Sri Lankan spinners will take heart from the fact that some of their batters like Nilakshi De Silva and Hasini Pereira were eventually able to get them above the 150 mark. So here's up to them to make the score somewhat more threatening than it is. But I do feel, though there might be occasional hiccups here and there, given that has been the nature of India's batting performances in the recent past, India should be able to overhaul this target with ease. And with Harmanpreet having shown the kind of form she has personally, she too would be looking forward to getting some time out there. She has had a great day as captain, amazing day as bowler, bowling those 7 overs and being able to get 12 odd overs out of complete part-timers in herself, Shukali Verma and Harleen Diaz for just runs. And Harman herself got a wicket, so she did look happy. The happy captain is always more often than not is a performing captain, and it does apply to somebody very specifically like Harmanpreet, because she is somebody who is a mood player. The day she is in the groove, when she's in the elements, she will go all guns blazing and take her team to victory. So here's a great opportunity for Harmanpreet to put her hand up. Should the Indian openers be able to set the tone? I don't think she will need to come out to bat, but in case there are those intermittent wickets that has been a trend seen throughout the T20 leg of this tour, then she would need to come out and bat and also potentially stitch those important partnerships as she did in the T20 format. But it's up to the Sri Lankan spinners to make life difficult for them, because the batters otherwise have made life difficult for the host. So it's bowlers to do a bit of a redemption act, so to speak.
I'm sure everyone will agree with you on this that when Harmanpreet Kaur is on the field, it's altogether a different vibe. But let's just wrap up with predictions. Coming to you, Thirush, first. Who, according to you, is going to start with the bat for India? One pick of the batter from the Indian side.
Uh, it's a quite a difficult ask. I mean, obviously,
No,
the very obvious choice would be Harmanpreet Kaur, because she has been the player in form. So I would want to go with Harmanpreet Kaur. But if you want another addition, would be I would love to see Smriti get those big runs, because as how Harman is a very important player for Indian team, I think Smriti plays a very pivotal role in trying to just not in this game, but also heading into a lot of cricket that's ahead for Indian team. So Smriti will have to be the will also be the one other experienced player in the Indian batting order. So I'm definitely rooting for Smriti to get a lot of runs today.
Okay, Smriti there. And your pick, Anisha?
Yeah, it has to be Smriti Mandhana for me, simply because of the fact that she has looked a bit off color at times on this tour, and she has struggled against the finger spinner. So she does have a statement or two to make, I feel, and here is a great opportunity. It's just 171 runs that India need to get. Why shouldn't she look to get the majority of those runs herself, remain unbeaten? That would be even better, not just for her confidence but for India, because I I think they have reasonably tested themselves, given their volatile batting performances. Most of their top seven players have been tested in the T20I leg of the tour. So here's an opportunity for Smriti to, take it nice and easy, given the asking rate is not a challenge at all. So here's looking forward to Smriti Mandhana scoring one of those 50 odd run knocks, or even an unbeaten knock, and acing yet another chase. A chasing record, her stats are amazing. So might as well put her hand up today and sort things out without too much of a hiccup as far as the overall Indian performance goes, because it's been a dominating performance otherwise. It's up to the batters, the openers especially, to really put their foot down and wrap it up as quickly as possible and in as emphatic a manner as possible. The nature of their wins in the T20 leg of the tour weren't quite convincing, as I mentioned earlier in the day, that left us with more questions than their answers. It inspires little confidence ahead of a major event season like the Commonwealth Games. So maybe here Smriti Mandhana can look to make some amends and really seal it with a thumping victory.
So Smriti Mandhana is the pick of both our experts. So we'll find out what happens and how the action unfolds in the second innings when we join you guys for the post-match show. So until then, you stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.
ये पक्का
अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।